Okay, we're going to get moving out of respect for those of you who are on time. Thank you very much for coming out this morning. For some of us, this afternoon, I believe, for some of the rest of you. This is the same presentation I gave at the IPIC conference, and maybe we'll change it up just a little bit, and through our discussion, we'll be able to do that. For those of you who don't know who I am, I'm Rob Comeau, and I am with the Color Centric Corporation in Rochester, New York. Oops. There you go, that's me, and you'll get a chance to see me on the webcam at the end of the presentation, perhaps. But I didn't want to make you watch my face throughout the whole web conference. We're going to skip the movie. So those of you who don't know where Rochester, New York is, it's in the northern part of New York. There's a lot more to New York than New York City, actually. I love this graphic. When I was looking for a map of New York, just to show you, in case you didn't know where Rochester was, this is kind of a funny meme that there is a lot more to New York than just Manhattan. But we're up state, just outside Rochester, not too far, right up on the lakes. I am located on the West Coast in Los Angeles, but our production facilities and offices are located in Rochester, New York. We do all kinds of press printed photo products, dye sublimation as well, business products, and we do a lot of back-end work for independent photo labs like yourselves, or some larger players as well that are in the industry. We do a lot of all white label work for consumer-facing, business-to-business type of businesses. One thing that's great about the relationship with us is that you'll be able to benefit from the entire organization. Much like IPI is a buying group, all the individual members get to benefit from the whole. All the business that comes in through Color Centric allows us to have a very streamlined production facility and production environment, and it allows us to, because we produce a large volume of work, it allows us to pass those cost savings along to all the customers. So you'll benefit as a smaller independent retailer from some of our larger customers because of the facilities that are allowed. It's a first in, first out facility. Your orders, because you're, say, independent, smaller retailer, doesn't mean they get to the back of the line ahead of one of our larger customers. Our software is made that it's, again, a first in, first out work environment. These are some images from our product catalog. Like I said, we do all types of stuff, not just photo books, which we'll talk a lot about today, but calendars, greeting cards, other wall decor, business, home office, and a range of photo gifts. If you don't have one of our catalogs, you didn't get to pick one up at the conference or receive one from me in email, please drop me an email and I'll be happy to send you a PDF version of our book. This is, I believe, from 2015, but it's pretty close to what last year was. 1.5 million orders, almost 1.6, come through the facility. Over 5 million products in those 1.5 million orders. An average turnaround of 2.5 business days, and 97, almost 98% on-time performance, and a very, very low rate of return. So we're a large facility that leverages the volume to all of our customers. So let's shift gears a little bit and talk about what's going on out in the environment right now in the photo world, in the photo space, in the retail environment. And there's people closing. We all know that. Unfortunately, some of our colleagues in the independent world are closing. but there seems to be lots of big boxes closing down. And some of the customer service at these larger big boxes are still not where they should be. It's nowhere near what you provide as independent retailers. It's one of my favorite scenes from National Lampoon Vacation, of course. Sorry, folks, park's closed. Moose out front, should have told you. And I kind of preface that to not the parks being closed, but certainly the big box stores. And this is a great quote from a few years back, an article written by Christopher Matthews at time.com. And I'll post this webinar for you all to read later, so you don't have to go through this whole thing. But what stands out in this paragraph when he's talking about the superstores that are starting to close is this part. And oddly enough, the sort of stores that pundits are predicting will replace them, being the big box, are smaller outfits that focus on customer service and product expertise. They look strangely like the mom and pop companies of yore. This speaks tremendous volumes to the IPI type of business, the IPI independent stores that you all operate and own, or manage or work at, depending on who's here in our room today. And I think this is so true. And those of you who know me for years, and Kirk's in the room, has known me for a long time, knows that I preach customer service and product expertise. And the time is better than ever to use those skills that you have in your store, the product knowledge and the ability to give that above and beyond customer service to really shine and out and get those customers that are out there looking for a good service, where the big boxes are not providing those, the ones that are left, and the ones that are failing, you'll be able to take up that market share. I truly believe that. And I think Christopher sums it up way better than I do, and that's why I like to include this slide. You know, he's really saying size does not matter, service matters. These are two pro basketball players, actually. I love this one. It just represents size does not matter so perfectly. Unfortunately, this young lady in the back, the very tall one, has passed away because of her size. Interesting kind of metaphor there with the retail closing, but she was a very nice young lady, I understand, and she did not survive her height, I guess. This is a big box framing and phototype store. I won't name names, but this is the type of signage they had out front, and I thought you might find this interesting. This is in my local area. It's a custom framing store using some old cardboard box to make their handwritten sign strapped to the tree out front. Your smaller stores, your independent stores, are so better positioned for the customer that wants a true customer service, good customer service experience, the above and beyond sales presentations and service levels that you can provide. The customers are really ripe for the picking out there. I'm not saying it's easy work. It's definitely hard work. But your environment is really the best environment for this right now. And it really always has been. And I think the consumers are starting to realize this more and more. In case you haven't heard, and I'm sure most of you have, and then most of you in the room are perhaps probably the Dacus customers, but our recent relationship with Dacus has allowed us to provide our photo books through your Dacus-powered website. Canvas, we're hoping to be online by this weekend. I think it's going to be a few more days, and we'll let you know, but there'll be canvas prints. And then more products to come after that, including cards, calendars, and the rest of our wall decor and photo gifts. That's on the way. Again, and it'll be available, these products are available across your Docus platform. So a customer can start an order in your store, they can go home, finish the order, come into the store, show it to you on their mobile device, submit the order, and you can handhold and help them all along the way. Again, what your stores are good at. Something they're just not going to get at a big box store. That hand-holding, premium, luxury, concierge level service. Be the Ritz-Carlton of the photo industry. This is the landing site that Docus has created for Photobooks. And shipping right now will be available in the US is available. Canada is now online to be able to, we will ship to Canada from Rochester, New York without any extra taxes or duties when it arrives at your customer's house or your location in Canada. The pricing is a bit different than the US because it is all built in. And if there's any Canadian customers, please let me know and we will get those price lists to you. In Australia, which I don't think there's any Australians in line, Australia, New Zealand, that area will be coming online hopefully soon as well, and shipping will come from Australia. So there'll be no shipping delays coming from the States or taxes and duties, things like that. All right, well, what's in it for me? The Whiffums. What's in it for me? I like to say that a lot. I don't say it out loud, but I say it in my head when propositions are given to you, or and you're asked to do anything. What's in it for me? Sometimes there's nothing in it for you in the non-business sense. Let me rephrase. I'm very philanthropic, but let's look at the business side of things, and that's why we're here, right? So what's in it for us? Margin. Again, because of our great wholesale prices at ColorCentric, we're able to offer, leveraging the entire customer base, you're able to increase and get better and better margins out of your products. The old system where some of you were involved with Forever Books was a great product. It was a great system at the time. But the number one request was that members wanted to set their own prices. And we just couldn't do that with the system that we had in place. So now, by working with your web providers, we're able to let you make your own prices and set your own prices. I know there's recently questions on the forum. The prices were initially set by Docus, were put in there into your websites, but all you need to do is contact Docus service, and they will allow you to go in and unlock and change the pricing. But you're able to set your own prices, get your own margins. It's not just a small kickback percentage from the sale, like on Forever Books was. You'll pay the wholesale price, and you're billed monthly via credit card for whatever orders and shipping comes through. Okay, let's get into maybe some of what's going on in creating photo products in the consumer world. Fuji did some research a few years ago, and it really comes down to people's immense amount of photos that they have and sorting through them and figuring out what to put in a book and what to even put on a photo product or a mug, it seems at this point, because there's so many photos and they're so unorganized. That's again where your smaller independent retail store becomes a concierge level service for the consumer. What better way to increase sales and increase your services to help these people who they really want help. They need help. They're shouting for help out there in the market. They're taking more photos than they've ever taken. There's some statistics, and I don't quote me on the numbers, but it's something about every day more photos are taken than during the first 200 years of photography. Since Niepce took the first, made the first photograph in 1825 till digital photography came, we take more photographs now every day. Now, is that percentage that of photographs taken are used to make a product, has that decreased? Well, it has, but just from the sheer volumes, still photo products are increasing overall. Quite a few won't start because they're sure it won't be perfect. They're nervous about making it look great. You can help them with that, and you can be reassuring to them that their products are nice and that their photos look great, and you can help them with layout and design if needed. And you can get a premium for that. I'm not saying don't charge them by any means, but that concierge premium level product that's going to look great, they're going to be very happy with it, and they're going to want to order more and send their friends. But you should charge for that, absolutely. And consumers are willing to pay for the help. For many, the organizational skills required seem daunting. Non-users have no idea how to make a book, where to do it, what it costs, or what they need to have ready. So I know a lot of stores are taking in the consumers' images and they're making the books for them. They're offering a design service. I know that's something we used to have with Forever Books. There was a design service that some stores utilized for their customers. And I know there's a lot of stores doing it themselves. I know that comes top of mind, Becky at Photosmith in New Hampshire is doing that. And Becky's also part of this organization, APPO, the Association of Professional Photo Organizers. You may partner with one of these people in your area if you're not doing it yourself in your store, a member yourself, to help organize your consumers' photos. And it's a service that they provide and charge for, and you can work with them maybe on the output side of things if you're not willing or have the capabilities to work on that organizational part itself. This is a great organization to align with. This is a great quote by our friend Ansel Adams, actually. Not everybody trusts paintings, but people believe photographs. I'm not quite sure that's the case today. And I just presented this to my college students this week, the first week of the semester, and they just looked at that statement and they were like, what? Nobody believes photographs. But for about 200 years, we did. But I put this in because people still value photographs. We used to have paintings, right? This painting, right? Washington crossing the Delaware. And when I look at it, to me, it looks like a Ralph Lauren commercial. A polo Ralph Lauren. Everybody looks so coiffed and great in this, this fantastic looking war garb that they're wearing. They look pretty happy to be out in the cold, crossing the Delaware, these big chunks of ice. I'm from the East Coast, and chunks of ice that big usually don't form on Christmas either. But the most peculiar thing about this painting is that it was done by a German man, born in Germany as an American citizen, though. And it was done in 1851, 75 years after the actual event. And he was 40 years old when he did it, and he was born in 1816, which means he wasn't alive when the event happened. So there's a lot of interpretation that was going on before photography. So the value of photography started almost immediately in 1838 when Louis Daguerre introduced his process that he worked on with Niepce to the French government, and the French gave it to the world in 1838. So the value was immediately seen, and where I'm going with this is that in daguerreotypes today, the most common daguerreotypes found and that are still out and preserved are the ones of family members, not the kind of banal backyard or scenic photos that people started taking, but they cherish these heirloom photographs and they're saved. So the most common type of daguerreotype that is still found today that is in good condition is usually a portrait of photographs that were saved of people's families. All right. Another quote from Fuji's research is that the biggest barrier to making more photo merchandise is simply the lack of top-of-mind awareness. Consumers just don't think of a photo books and really many other photo products as the appropriate way to remember a particular image. Again, that's where your smaller store, retail store, independent store can give that concierge level service, has that face-to-face time, is talking to the customer, showing them, handing them a photo book. Hey, look at this. We don't have a formal sample program for books at Color Centric. And part of that is that I believe that your store should be making books that are relevant to your area, that are made by your employees, so they're familiar with the process. They're invested in their samples. That way, when somebody comes in and they were talking about books to them, they can say, look at this book I did of my vacation, or here's my kid's baseball season or football season. They're more passionate about the samples. They're willing to share and show them to other people and talk about them, and they're relevant to your geographic area. I could send you some samples I make here from Southern California with palm trees and things like that. But if you live in upstate New York or in New England, it's quite clear, unless you're on vacation, this is not your photo book. It's just some kind of a sample. Again, it gives that bigger level of concierge level service. And if the kids are playing baseball and there's palm trees in the background of football, you're going to have a hard time convincing somebody in Portland, Maine, that those are your kids down the street. But it'll help get your employees talking about the books and the samples. I truly believe that. And you can order your samples at through your DACAS website, through your internal account, at the regular wholesale prices as well, which is pretty low pricing. In-store selling. Another great part of being an independent, smaller retailer is that you don't have to look like this guy. You're not selling used cars. You're not this man. You're usually truly passionate about what you're doing. Most of your employees are truly passionate about what's going on in that store, in the products, and they're experts. And they're usually trusted by your employees and by your customers, and that's why your customers are coming back and telling others. Never say no. Offer alternatives. This is a big customer service sticking point for me. So when a customer comes in and says, for instance, do you offer traditional photo albums? And maybe you don't stock those anymore because, heck, you're only selling one a month, if you're doing that at all. I don't know. But instead of saying, no, we don't have those anymore, you can say, hey, you know what we have? We have these things called photo books. They're great because they hold way more photos than your traditional photo album. You can customize the cover. You can put text inside, and you can fit lots and lots of different pages in. And you can have backgrounds. You can design it yourselves. Here, take a look. There's the samples over here. This is actually one I made of my vacation. Offer alternatives. And the photo books and photo products are great alternatives. for lots of things. So that's if you did anything today, one thing today is work on that. Never saying no, offering what you have, and I expand this on talking about your competition. I'm just never one to talk about the competition. I'd rather talk about myself and tell you what we can do for you. So it's really they run in parallel. Never saying no when a customer comes in to inquire about a product or things that you can do. You're offering alternatives. Same thing when they come in and ask about a big box store or a certain retail place. You say, I'm not sure about that, but let me show you what we have. Let me show you what we can do for you here, and we do all these great things. And you kind of get the customer's mind off the thing whether you can't do or the thing that you don't have, and you get them excited about something new. This comes from an IPI customer when we had the Forever Books program, and it might have been you, Kirk. I forget who it was because I took the name out. It might have been you even. It says, with just 2 customers, I was able to get a $788 in sales. Chatting with them and giving them the brochure was worthwhile. In one case, the customer ordered 14 identical copies of a book for a gross sale of $475. We think of books as a tedious $40 sale. And then that 14 identical copies part is key there. It doesn't take any extra time to make 13 more books. The time's all in the original creation. And instead of typing 1, you type 1-4 in the order quantity. And there's ways to sell that. When you're looking through, you're working with your customers and you're seeing that they're making a photo book of a family vacation that was also a family reunion. And you notice that there, and you talk with them and ask them, oh, wow, how many families are represented? Wow, there's 10 families in there. And now, and there's also adult children. So there's really about 20 different families that were at this event. So why are they ordering 1 book? You can order 19 more books. And then using your website and user accounts and things like that, if they don't want to pay for them all up front, they can send their friends and relatives, and they should be ordering the book that's already done. So upselling, it may be mouse pads, mugs. See who they're for. Oh, we're making this mug for grandma. Oh, wow. Are both sets of grandparents around? Yeah. Well, you know what? We can make 2 just as quick as we can make, almost as quick as we can make 1. Or we can order those for you if you don't do them in store. But it takes that conversation that your stores are really good at. It takes getting to know your customer and helping them fulfill their needs. Way back, I helped open a retail franchise, portrait stores in New England that was nationwide, but I helped open the New England stores. And they had, we were one of the first stores ever, first franchise ever to offer instant video proofing. So as soon as you had your portrait session done, you came out into the waiting area and you got to see your portrait session immediately using a digital analog hybrid of proofing. And we had a sales system called needs-based selling. And before we really started getting into what do you want to buy, you want an 8x10, or you want a canvas print, what we asked is, hey, how many people in your family? How many aunts and uncles do you have, or grandparents, and who else do you think would like photos of you? And we'd make a big list and to show the customer, hey, you've got a lot of needs here. This package would satisfy all these people. Now, some people are great, I'll take it, which was always the ultimate, thanks, great, I'll take the $500, $600 package. And some people that wasn't affordable for them, and that's okay. And you just started cutting down from there. And you started, say, oh, maybe my aunt and uncle don't really need one. But what you ended up with in the end was usually more than just one for me. So really think about that needs-based sales type of of environment and make a hybrid of that. And they're showing you in their work that you're helping them with what they have and how many photos, mugs, mouse pads, or books that really are intrinsically built into their design and product. We talked about this earlier. Have every one of your employees made books and photo products? Are samples displayed on your counters around the store, including the camera department? For those of you who sell hard goods, there's no reason why you shouldn't have photo products spread around that area. Mouse pads, mugs, photo books. Maybe in the camera department, there's photo books of very, scenic type photographs for the people that are real photo enthusiasts or into the landscape photography type of thing, depending again where your store is and what your customer makeup is. But put different types of products in different places, not just one little small section. I'm not saying don't have a wall that shows all your photo book options or canvas options, but make sure you have these things in and around the store and other places. Because maybe that customer coming in for a new UV filter, not thinking about going down into the corner where you have your processing and photo books and mugs and things like that. But if they go to the counter to ring up the camera counter to ring up their UV filter, they've got something to look at. And while you're ringing them up, hey, take a look at this new book we just did. Or this is one of our customers. One of our great customers who comes in and he's a fantastic landscape photographer as a hobby or a professional. And he made this great book, and we made a copy here. Let's take a look. He made this with one of the Canons or Nikon cameras, all these photographs. Something like that. Absolutely have sample products at every point of sale. Not just we were talking about the camera department or other places in, but make sure they're at the point of sale. So again, that customer can have a conversation with your employee about that. Maybe make a customer photo product of the month, kind of like we were just talking about with the book. If you just see something that's so phenomenal from one of your customers, ask them, hey, do you mind if we make one for ourselves to show everybody? If you still do 4x6 in your store, should be 4x6 stuffers in every bag that go out, showing something that you do. You're able to put something in everybody's hand on the way out. It should be more than just their receipt. Brochures, posters, on-screen advertising, all the more traditional type things. But try to start thinking out of the box. How do we get this information to our customers? Yes, there's the web and social media and all this SEO and all that type of thing, and that's very important in today's world, absolutely. But as a smaller retailer, you have this unique opportunity to use time-tested methods that now are considered a bit out of the box. And how can you start using those again if you've stopped and see how they work? Key staff members as experts is I know some people are doing, oh, you need to talk to Bill. He's our photo book guy. He knows everything there is about photo books. Hold on. And that's not to say you're passing off a customer. All your employees should know about what to do in case Bill's not there. But if Bill's not is free, you can make it like, hey, this customer's now being given to the expert, and it makes them feel special. Photo product classes in store. I know a lot of you do photo classes on how to shoot, what are f-stops and shutter speeds, and how to take better portraits and how to use flashes and things like that. But how can you incorporate photo products into those classes, and or have just maybe even a book building class? Maybe that's a non-charged one, because hopefully they're buying the photo book in the end. Or maybe the class is $50 and includes a photo book. So at the end of the class, and that's what you've created, if you have the space to do that. We talked about needs-based selling. Let them know they can order more than one copy. Sometimes it's just letting them know. They don't understand. Hey, I can order 2 books. I don't have to start from scratch. Upsell from other products that involve a lot of photographs. Shoebox scanning. I know many IPI members are doing that now, whether they're doing it in store or sending it out to a vendor, a partner. But if they're scanning everything and digitizing it, it's half organized already for them at that point. And they should be leaving with proof books or organized birthdays, anniversaries, vacations, something. Canvas prints, something from a scanning service order. There's got to be something more than that, because they obviously want to do something. They've scanned them, they've taken that initial step. Hold their hand, keep moving. Maybe you can include a bit of a coupon. If they've got scanning service, here's a coupon for your first order, your first digital order, now that you've digitized your collection. Maybe the advert reads, congratulations, you've taken the first big step by digitizing your precious family heirlooms. Now let's see what we can do to help you make some more products, and something like that. Multi-image posters. I know were popular collages for a long time. Again, there's a lot of images on there. Besides this poster, you also can put them in a book. You can put any one of those or 10 of those on a mug or a mouse pad or something like that as well. Let them know there are other products. That's half the battle. Is having your employees just tell them what else is available. If they're doing video slideshows, let them know there's hard output as well. And of course, 4x6 prints. I found the most interesting takeaway from iPic this year for me were the number of members still doing film and doing lots of it because they had a processor still, where other stores were shutting theirs down, and other stores meaning big box. And the only place that people could bring their film were to your partners, your partner members in that offered this service. And then they're printing 4x6s again. They're digitizing. Let them know what else they can do. If they're coming in to make 4x6 prints and processing film, show them how they can digitize it. Show them how they can also make digital photo products from their analog film processing at the start. I just thought that was a phenomenal takeaway. And it's a bit of the last man standing scenario, and the last man standing is getting all the work, and it's amazing how I'm seeing that in photo processing. I had a conversation yesterday with a member in Canada, and they're seeing that in a couple of different areas in the photography industry in their area, and not just with film and processing, but also in hard goods. But you know what that photograph is? That's Niepce's first photograph in 1825. The exposure time, any guesses before I put it up there? You can type them in. The exposure time on this photograph, 8 hours in 1825. Niepce for Niepce, 8-hour photograph. You put your camera on the windowsill. There's no electronic shutter. It's probably just pulled the lens cap off, if there was even a lens on the pinhole. Uncover the pinhole. You could go to work for the day, your other job, eat lunch, go out to dinner, come back, and you've got your photograph. 8 hours. 188 years later, we're at this, and we're taking more photographs than ever before. So how, as independent retailers, can you cash in? Really, right? Let's be honest. How do we cash in on this? And I know it's not easy. I know it's not, because people are taking pictures, thousands of pictures on their phone, and they're doing nothing with that. But a lot of it, I think, has to do with education. Letting the customer know how easy it is in your store to do this, how easy it is to get the photographs off of the camera, off of the phone onto a product, onto a book, onto 4x6s, onto canvas prints. It's talking to them about it and letting them know. Not easy, but I believe, I truly believe it can be done, and there's many IPI members who are being very successful at doing this. Finding the right products for the right, for your customer. So many of you know I'm from the East Coast, and a few years back I went to Ipswich, Massachusetts, the place called the Clam Box, and it has it's very famous for fried clams. And the building itself right here is shaped like a clam box, which you get your box of clams in, your fried clams, and they're wonderful. So when I was there, I met a wonderful dog named Chloe. And I took some pictures of Chloe, and I thought Chloe's real cute. And this is before I even had a dog, and I wasn't really a dog person, but Chloe was pretty easygoing. And then the gentleman who owned Chloe, Chloe's owner, came up and handed me Chloe's business card. And Chloe had his own website. I thought, this is crazy. Who does this, right? Well, come to find out, this is an older study from Invoke Trends, but this was right around the time when I met Chloe. And it turns out that pets are among the top personal photo subjects. And pets rank above, in this one, friends and grandchildren. Now, I think this has flipped a bit in today's selfie world, where myself may be well more near the top. But it seems grandparents are taking pictures of their pets well before they're taking pictures of their grandchildren. And now, lo and behold, if you go to sparkydog100.blogspot.com, you'll meet my dog Sparky, and I jumped right in on that whole trend. So I completely understand it. But people are taking more and more photographs of more things. Did you know, hey, Mary, that's a great picture of your dog. Do you know you could do a 10-page softcover photo book, or a 20-page softcover photo book, or a hardcover photo book of just dog pictures, just Sparky the dog? Really? Yeah, look at it. So if you're in an area that's really pet-centric, you should have pet samples out, mugs with dogs on them, and photo books with cats, whatever it might be. Some areas I know are much more animal friendly than others, but it's just an example. Find out what's popular in your area and make sure the samples are out there with those things on there. I think there's Sparky, and Sparky has his own hashtag on Instagram. Just for my pet, photo products based around your pet. It's just opened up this year. Pets are big business. Also, B2B. I know that was a big buzzword in the last couple of years at the IPIC conference, and this year more than ever, I think, was the B2B applications. You know, real estate market, they need short run. They're not out looking for large run type print jobs. Funeral homes, you're able to provide perhaps that quick turnaround for funeral homes. And it's not with our product at Color Centric, but it means you're in store because you can get that out in a day, or you can get it out by the next morning, in which a lot of times is needed in a funeral situation. Maybe working with local artists, florists, taking picture, if they've got pictures of their displays, of their type of flower arrangements, you can make photo books for them of that they can use in store. Or they can put them on all the different products they use in their store. Their mouse pad should have their flowers on them. Their coffee mug should have their flowers on them. If you offer photography services, even better. And you can help them make that happen. But florists are also working with people who are having events. So when they show this photo book showing the different floral arrangements available for the bride, and the bride says, wow, where'd you get this cool book? Well, we got that at Joe's Photo Store down the street. They're fantastic. You should see them when you're done with us. and see what they can do with all the photographs that you have up until this point, and make things for your reception, and make posters and collages. You know what this is? This makes a great sign-in book. You can put photographs of you and certain family members, your engagement photos, in this photo book and use it as your sign-in book. That was the first photo book I ever made, was actually a sign-in book, the guest book for my wedding. We had pictures of my wife and me from obviously before we were married. We had wedding pictures of both our sets of parents and our grandparents also in the book, and special spots for family members to sign with photographs, and then other guests could sign in the photo book. It was better than that. We thought the GBC bound traditional sign-in book where, it says fill in names here, bride, and you put the bride's name, groom, you put the groom, it was so much more personal, and everybody loved it. But work with people who work with other consumers, helping them with their own needs, as well as partnering to get their customers to be your customers, and you can help them in return. We're almost up the, we're running a little bit out of time. I'm going to be respectful of your time here. We'll go a little bit quicker. Kids artwork, one set for each grandparent, each kid and parent. We make photo books here year to year at my house, and we make 4 copies. One family, 4 copies. I have 2 boys. We make a copy to put out. I make a copy to put away, and I make 1 copy for each of them. 4 copies, 1 family of 4. And when we do vacations, we vacation often with my in-laws, and we make, if I make a photo book vacation, I make 1 for my in-law, my mother and father-in-law, and I make 1 for my sister and brother-in-law. And maybe another 2 for the kids. Put them away. There's something they're going to want. Work with schools, class projects, teacher gifts, a photo book of their year in review with the class, the PTAs, yearbooks, coaches' gifts, and then, you got a season in review book for the coach. Well, there's 20 kids on the team. Everybody's going to want one. There's a lot of different opportunities. You got to think out of the box and try to think of these volume projects where they got to make more than one. Show them why they need to make more than one. Brides, a lot of brides are walking away with a USB drive with 1,000 photographs on them, and they don't know what to do. They make great gifts after for the attendants, maybe at the shower, different parties, the final wedding album. There's lots and lots of weekend warrior photographers who are not helping the brides and grooms with outputs. Work with professional photographers, all this part. Personal cookbooks, works with scanning service. I have a collection of treasured family heirlooms that are recipe cards for my great-grandmother and her sister, my great-great-aunt from Vermont. And they're great family recipes that my mom made. And I have the original recipe cards from these 2 wonderful ladies. And I haven't done it yet, I will admit, but I'm going to scan them and include them in a photo book. Now, sometimes it's hard to read their writing, but I'm going to make sure I interpret it. So on, say, the left page, I have the original recipe card enlarged. And then on the right page, I can type it out and have the recipe as well there. Sports league, summer camps, lots of different opportunities with volume, as well as maybe one-off in the cookbooks. But you know what? That cookbook's not a one-off. Why? I have 2 sisters. If I make that personal cookbook, when I get to do it, I'm going to make 3. I'm going to make 1 for me and 1 for my 2 sisters. There's always a multiple. It seems there's almost always a reason for a multiple. Great quote to end up here. I've always enjoyed making personalized gifts and preserving memories. And through the years, it's been nice when friends mention looking back through one of my old creations. Maybe they'll also make creations at your store. That's what's great about making a personalized gift for someone, such as a photo book. It's something they will always keep and always remember. You can't say that for a lot of other gifts. there becomes a point when how many more things can you buy for aunts, uncles, grandparents? What they really want, besides obviously what we found out, pictures of their pets, pictures of their family, things that can be passed along. They're not going to pass along the tie, the cheese board, the tchotchke, but they will pass along and remember uh, things like photo books and photo gifts and canvas, even mugs with photographs on them. So thank you. If anybody has any questions, just type "I do" or something in the chat, and I will unmute you, and we can talk live on your questions. I will shoot everybody an email and include this presentation in a PDF form for you. I have everybody's email address. Are there any questions? And you know you can always contact me at any time via email. I'll put it down there just in case, but you all should have it. Oops. colorcentric.com. All right. Well, I don't see anybody asking questions. So with that, I will say thank you very, very much for your time this morning. And if you'd ever need me to give this type of talk to your employees, we can use Skype or GoToMeeting as well, and I'd be happy to give the same type of presentation. We can tailor it up and change it up as well. I can work with you to your employees as well. Is Dacus the only to do business with you? From Adam, we're working on some solutions right now to provide services to non-Dacus customers. It's a little bit early to give any more details, but I will let you know we are working with other services and ways to provide our services for you. Does that answer your question in a vague sort of way? It sounds very political, but we're working on it. Great. Well, hopefully we'll be able to help you soon, Adam and Anna. Oop, Anna, on Dacus will be our cost or customer price. On your website, when Dacus publishes it, it's the customer price, but there was some confusion at the beginning on where the shipping was. So you're going to want to change them right away if Dacus hasn't already changed that. And I'll ask Ryan at Dacus that question today. I believe they were going to change what they published to include a cost for shipping. There won't be a shipping line on your customer orders, and we did that because of mainly the ship to store aspect, where we didn't want your customers who were shipping the store to see why they had to pay an additional shipping and handling. I believe Dacus sets it up that way and made us realize that that made sense. So you're going to want to build in to your retail price this shipping price. And I believe that's $11.50, and I need to look that up. I don't have it in front of me. I have the presentation up. And then there's an additional per book. So you'll build in that $11.50 to the retail price. So if your retail price is $20, then your retail price needs to be $31.50 to cover the shipping. Now, if they buy 2 books, you'll also benefit from some extra margin because the second book shipped to the same address and the same package is going to be increase your price a lot less than $11.50. That's a long answer to your question, Anna, and thank you for that. Anybody else? Well, again, thank you very much for your time this morning. I enjoy doing this, and like I said, if you like me to do this presentation again, or to your employees only, or that type of thing, please let me know. And anytime if you have any questions. Thanks all.